Okay, so for the past many weeks we've been doing these kind of non-dual type meditations. We're going to continue doing that for a while, at least for tonight. So a little different fare than the usual Vipassana. And what I will say is that we're going to sit for about, 55 minutes, maybe an hour. So, it'll be a nice long sit. And because people go really, this is like the kind of big boys and girls class or big beings class, we're gonna, like go deep. And because we go deep, we want to be really, really respectful of everybody's meditation, which means don't fidget at all. Do not move. Like really don't move. And as part of not moving, be quiet. Like really quiet. Okay? Those are the agreements for this class, that we sit real still and we're real quiet. And then I'll be up here not being quiet, talking, and I'll also actually every once in a while pick this up and drink it because I have to speak, and that's my excuse for not following the rules. Welcome to San Francisco Dharma Collective, the world's only Dharma Collective, and therefore the finest in the world. Yeah, the most excellent Dharma Collective there has ever been. We are going to continue to look at the nature of mind. Okay? That's what we've been doing in these meditations for the past many weeks. For the past few, we've been looking at stripping down layers of fabrication, stripping down the layers of stuff that you use, that the brain uses to organize all the information that's coming in the senses, and to make it so that you can, like, when you're eating some pasta, that the fork goes in your mouth and the food goes in, and you don't stab your eye and stuff, right? You want the food to go in the mouth, you want to be able to like walk up the stairs and so on. So the brain spends a lot of time organizing information. And that turns out to be handy, but it's also layers of fabrication, layers of concept put over the naked, raw experience of mind. And so for the past many weeks, I keep encouraging everyone to just let those layers drop. We're going to do some more of that. But I'm also going to come around in another direction tonight, just to make it maybe easier for some folks. Remember that this is a guided meditation, so like I said, I'll be making noise. But you don't have to do the guided meditation. All you have to do is not move and be silent. But whatever you're doing in your own mind, maybe you're solving a crossword puzzle in your mind, that's fine. I don't give a fuck. Do whatever you want, as long as you're still and silent. But if you want to join in the meditation, I'm actually really leading you somewhere. Okay? We're good to go with the lights. Everyone can hear me, right? Even if I get really quiet like that, can you hear me okay, Linda? Yeah, okay. And then the heater goes on. Perfect timing again. Good. Thank you. I'm going to go down to Kochi Stronghold tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. Interview Chula Das. I know there's a lot of illuminated mind people in here, so if you have any notes you want me to hand off to Chula Das, we can do that. Okay, so begin by settling into your meditation seat. Really finding the posture. Make sure that you are in a kind of elegant repose, right? So you're grounded firmly in your cushion. Your back is straight, but not like at military attention, but just upright, alert, but relaxed. You can feel this kind of uplifting, bright energy because your spine is upright. And we're going to start out doing some special breathing and doing just regular old concentration on the breathing. But what I want you to do is to do nice in breaths, but really long out breaths. Okay, so you're going to just breathe in normally, but make that out breath nice and long. And as you're doing these regular in breaths, nice long out breaths, I want you to really be concentrating on the belly action here. So the belly is, noticeably pushing out on the in-breath, and then, falling back on that long, delicious out-breath. And so your attention is on the belly, particularly like the lower part of the belly, way, way, way down there, as you're doing normal in-breaths and really long out-breaths. Now, suit the out-breath to your own situation. Make it work for you so that it's comfortable. But I want you to really be able to pay attention to that out-breath. And if it helps you to use labeling, then probably the easiest one is labeling breathing in on the in-breath and labeling breathing out on the out-breath. So if that helps you to stay focused, go ahead and do that. So let's begin with that. As usual, it's crucial to stay focused, really feel those sensations in the belly, and also to have the focus be crisp and clear and vivid. Now, for most people, your eyes are closed and you're feeling a body sensation. So I don't mean that the body sensation has to be neon or anything, but I mean that the feeling of it, even if it's in darkness, the feeling is crisp and clear and bright. Awareness of the body sensation of breathing is bright. So you're not letting yourself drift off into a fog or going into kind of these blank zones. You're staying right with the brightness and clarity of the sensation of breathing. Not missing any sensations of breathing in the belly. Right there with it. And just allowing the mind to use the breath as an anchor to help it settle a little bit. You're not forcing anything, you're just allowing it to de-chaotify itself a little bit and just get a little smoother and more open. And you might notice how refreshing and clean and maybe even beautiful the breath feels. Out breaths are so nice, and maintaining a long out breath is delicious. Good. Now, you can stick with this for the entire meditation if you wish. If you like focusing on breathing like this with a long exhale, then just continue to do that. That can be home base. For those who wish to go a little deeper, we're going to do a visualization. I want you to picture a full moon. A very bright, vivid white full moon against a dark sky. If that's easy for you, just go ahead and let that be there. And that's now your new focus. Rather than focusing on the breath, You're focusing on this bright, clear, full moon. If that's not working for you, any other visualization that is a natural object like that, that's easy for you to picture. It could be the ocean, it could be a flower. Go ahead and picture that. Or if that's too hard, go back to breathing. Now, the full moon image is what you are now resting attention upon. You want the image to be bright and clear, but also as stable as it can be. You may have to re-picture it over and over, but if you can allow it to just begin to stabilize. And you can adjust the details until you notice a kind of sense of enchantment with the beauty. Something about it really captures your wonder or your sense of beauty. And it will begin to really capture attention. If you want, you can just use the label moon, if that helps. Again, if this is really a struggle, just go back to the breathing part. Otherwise, see how perfectly circular, how perfectly round you can see the moon, how lovely you can get the color to be, just that perfect full moon tint of white. As many times as the image of the moon disappears, just bring it back. Really focusing on its qualities of delight and beauty and gentleness. Good. Now make the light of the moon brighter. Make it nice and bright. Maybe brighter than the moon really gets. So that it's a vivid white sphere, very, very bright. And I want you to imagine this directly above you, above your head, above the building, up in the sky, as high up as the moon really is, which is something like a couple 100,000 miles. So there's a vast, enormous space, very, very dark blue space, maybe black space with a vivid white orb shining brightly. Picture that as clearly and continuously as you can. Hundreds of thousands of miles above you. infinitely vast space, with this shining orb in the center. Keep doing the nice long out breaths. And picturing this vivid moon in infinite space. Radiant, exquisite, brilliant, perfect, pure. Now allow awareness to just completely plunge upward into the moon. So you're inside it. Awareness is inside it. You've left the body, the earth completely. And awareness inside this bright sphere, surrounded by infinite space. It's not a body up in there, it's just awareness. Bright awareness surrounded by infinite space in every direction. Earth is now so far away you can't even see it. There's just vastness and light. Good. Now let go of visualizing the moon at all and just stay with this infinite space. It may still be bright or not, but there's nothing left but space. Remembering that we're totally still and totally silent, no movement at all. There's no body at all, there's no world, there's just vast space. If thoughts attempt to arise, they just dissolve into space. If space is too hard to stay focused on, come back to visualizing the moon. If the moon is too hard to focus on, come back to the breath in the belly. Keep returning to whatever you're capable of. Sometimes you may drop back to the moon, visualize that for a while, feel your mind coming to a nice still place again, and go back to the space. Infinite, open, clear, clean space. Nothing but space. Any thoughts that arise just dissolve into the emptiness. Any sensations that are still around just dissolve into emptiness. There's just space and nothing else. Please do not make sounds. And now let go of the space and just focus on what's left, which is nothing at all. If nothing at all is too hard, you can go back to doing something that you can focus on. But notice that when you drop the space, all that's left is nothing at all. Nothing at all is nothing at all. So if it seems nothing at all is strangely compelling. Awareness loves to contact nothing. Now, whether you're focusing on nothing at all or vast space or a full moon or the belly breath, let go of that now and allow the mind to just rest in the mind itself. You're not picturing anything at all. You're not even focusing at all. The mind is completely relaxed, open, natural, you're at ease. If any ripples start to move through the mind, just let those relax. If the mind begins to grip around anything at all, just relax that grip. Just allow awareness to rest in awareness as awareness. If awareness begins to get involved in anything at all, just relax that involvement. Notice the vividness of pure awareness. Awareness is monolithic and imperturbable. It is perfectly still. Now I want you to ask yourself some questions. And I don't want the answer to come from your brain. I want you to just look at your own naked experience, direct experience. Where is awareness located? How big is awareness? Remember, we're not thinking up answers, we're just trying to notice directly. Is awareness something or is it nothing? Is awareness a thought or is it not a thought? what is awareness made of? Where is awareness? Good. Now let go of that. Feel free to finally move and maybe stretch a little bit. The lights will go on here in a minute, so be prepared for that brightness. Just turn them all on. Thanks. Good, so you want to do as much of this as you're capable of. Again, if with no judgment, right? You just want the mind to do this form of shamatha that we are doing, this form of concentration practice. It's perfectly fine if you're just sticking with the belly, body sensations. Great, do that for the whole meditation. Just stay with it, right? Get really, really deep into that. If, on the other hand, you can go to the next step of a mental visualization. It's a harder object to concentrate on, right? It's less seemingly solid, less seemingly motionless. And so there it is in the mind, but if your mind is capable of maintaining visualization like that, you're going to be quite a bit more concentrated than just contacting body sensation, right? It's a lot more focused and quite a bit more still also, right? To maintain that, it's a lot of stillness. So if that's the spot that's just right for your level of capacity right now, then just go there. You know, start out with the breathing until you get nice and focused, and then go to the visualization. There's a lot of ways we can play with that visualization. You saw that we started out just visualizing and then moved it way up in the heavens and so on. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with that. And it gets progressively subtler and progressively more difficult to do. Thus sharpening your focus and stilling the chaos in the mind, right? Starts to allow things to chill out a little bit, relax a little more. And then, you know, something quite a bit subtler, quite a bit harder to focus on is just space, right? There's not even an object there, there's just vastness. But that is a kind of a subtle object. It's something you can still focus on. If you noticed that you could hold that for a second and then your mind would, you know, drop it, you could hold it for a second and your mind would drop it, then just go back to the visualization of the moon, right? Or whatever you were visualizing. Any beautiful, compelling, natural object works. It doesn't have to be the moon. But, you know, you keep dropping back to where you're comfortable. But if you can hang with space, awesome. It's a very subtle object, right? And much more difficult to focus on. But if you can focus on it, then again, your mind gets even more still, even more clear, bright, vivid, beautiful. And then if you can go to the next place, just nothing at all. Right? It's the weirdest thing, but you can actually focus on nothing. It's a spot you can focus on, and what's there? Nothing. Not even a spot, but there's just a place where there's nothing. And that's even subtler, right? And for most people, you can't find it, and if you can't find it, go back to the space, and so on, to wherever you're comfortable. But if you can notice the nothing, and this is not the never-ending journey kind of nothing, you know, where it destroys everything. This is the good nothing. You just focus, you know, you have a different style of luck dragon, and you focus on this nothing, which turns out to be weirdly compelling. Like once you find how to focus on nothing, it's strangely captivating. Turns out nothing is tremendously interesting. So you stay with that, right? This is progressive shamatha, right? You're just getting better and better at focusing on subtler and subtler things. Anybody recognize that sequence slightly? Yeah? It's basically kind of roughly jhanas, right? Not exactly, but very similar sequence. We just did it in a different way. So what is shamatha for in the long run? Shamatha gets you ready for vipassana. So we did our shamatha, we got nice and focused, and then eventually we just rest in the open mind, which, notice, that's not focusing at all. There's no focus object, just aware, not grabbing onto anything. It's a completely different thing. So we got nice and focused, and then we went to the natural mind, just open awareness, and did a different style of vipassana there. Right? Instead of the vipassana that we're used to doing on sense objects or mental sense objects or whatever, which is one kind of vipassana, we did vipassana on awareness itself. It's still vipassana, just on an interesting non-object. So very traditional sequence. We do concentration and then we do vipassana. Concentration and then insight practice. This is just another way of doing it. We're using an in-between kind of concentration of visualization before going into the real formless stuff. And then resting in the nature of awareness, but then actually inquiring into the nature of awareness. Right? And notice that if that came up as answers, then that's not it. Right? That's just definitely not it. You know, you keep coming back to direct experience. No memory of anything or idea about anything is to see. Is it an object? Yeah, well, you've got awareness right there. You don't need to remember some definition, just notice. Where is it? Well, I don't know, notice. Right? Just come back to your absolutely direct experience of awareness. So, just like in the past few weeks, we were coming into this kind of sky-like mind, or just pure awareness. But we went a little further. Hopefully, we made it easier by doing some shamatha first. Katie, hi Katie. Katie was writing today how I'm driving everyone crazy because I'm just saying do it. So tonight I'm like, okay, well we'll take you there step by step. Fine. But now that we're there, then we're going to do an extra thing. Right? So we're going to not only just rest in awareness, but actually do inquiry on awareness, which is really, really a powerful practice, super powerful practice. If you keep doing that, it's very insight producing. There's a lot of richness of insight in there. So that's what we're up to. Hopefully that was a little disorienting at times. That would be a good sign. Hopefully you didn't know the answer to any of the inquiry questions, because there isn't one. There's just noticing. Amy got it wrong.
I was waiting for someone to tell me the answers.
Well, I got the answer. I could feel it. I could feel it was in my breathing, in my senses, and everything. It was and so I was everywhere. I just really loved the meditation, because before I would not concentrate on my breathing because I thought it was a yoga technique and I should not do yoga technique. So don't do that, don't do that. And this time I say, yes, we can elongate the breathing because it's so good for everything. So I say, I can do that now.
In this version of this, you're allowed to.
Oh, in this version,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Some vipassana we don't mess with the breath at all. Some of it we do. Right?
Oh,
Just
yes.
depends.
I thought it was something I missed, and I said, oh, in fact, we can.
You have permission to do long, nice out breaths. Good. So questions or comments or reports or critiques or whatever is coming up out there. Eric.
I found I could stick with the breath in a really focused way, and had tons and tons of trouble with the mood.
Yeah.
Even more trouble with being the mood.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that,
What kind of trouble did you have?
Just I would start thinking about the mood, and then it would sort of change in like a dreamlike way into a stoplight, or I'd suddenly be looking at something else. I just noticed myself getting distracted a lot more often when I was focusing on it.
Yeah, mental objects are harder to focus on, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Whereas the body's just like, okay, plus the stomach is so easy
to. Now, as a professional musician, I wonder if I was like, okay, I want you to focus on a mental sound, produce a mental sound. I bet you could do it all day long. So that's the same damn thing.
what was interesting is that beyond that, and maybe this is, um, when it was time to focus on, to leave awareness and just focus on space, that felt just as easy as focusing on my breath.
Mm-hmm.
So I could sort of toggle between those two, but the two intermediary visualization levels were just a lot tougher to contact.
Yeah. Again, like we can do it with sound, we can do it with a whole bunch of stuff. The idea is to have it be a mental object, so that the mind is doing it rather than a physical object. Yeah, nice. Cool. Yes.
I had a little trouble with the moon as well, and to the point
I
where
had a little trouble with the moon. Like a poem. Title of a poem.
It was funny because, well, I was having trouble visualizing anything, and so I was having this big, like, moment of, I thought I could do this visualization. I thought I usually see things when I'm meditating. So I visualized a fork, and which I know is not a natural object, but I could do that really well. That was really odd to me. And so I went back to visualizing the moon, and I found that, like, I was trying to see with my eyes, and I could, but then
Hint.
I
You can't see it with your eyes closed.
no. No. And then I could see it in my mind.
Yes.
Like, what was it? Because before you said it's above us, you know? And so I had this, like, I could see it there, and it was really kind of disturbing to, like, it was like I could see it, like seeing a shadow or something. It was an odd sense, it was an odd sense of it. And it would come and go. And so I worked with that. And then, you know, I went to the moon, and that was kind of odd, and it was some good, there was a lot of activity there, there was some traction there.
Yeah.
You know, I was able to be there for a minute, and the thing is, I went back to my breathing at one point because it was just too much. And
Good move.
And at
If
that
it gets
point,
to be too much, go back to the point.
and then you led us to the place of trying the infinite space. And I find that when I do a vipassana meditation, concentrating my body, that infinite space becomes my awareness anyway. That's kind of where it went.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like I didn't go out, I came back in, and then there was that space.
If it's infinite space, what did you go into?
It just,
Hint.
pardon?
Hint. You
no
didn't.
answer?
There is no answer. Yes.
Right on.
Very good.
Yeah, it's just a sensation, I guess, anyway, yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Anybody find visualizing easy? Raise your hand. Yeah, it's part of why we did it is for some people that's super easy. And some of this other stuff is hard, but it's just depending on just your, qualities of your brain or your karma or how many drugs you've done or something. I guess that's qualities of your brain. Visualization might be really easy, and so it's nice to have that as a possibility, right?
Yeah, in the visualization point, I found that working with the moon, I was doing this whole cosmography thing, trying to figure out where the light source was.
Yeah,
So
don't
I
do
switched
that.
to the sun.
Yeah, good.
And once I switched to the sun, it was a lot easier because I wasn't trying to figure out angles of things.
Yes. Hint, this is imagination.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay.
But in the visualization, that was helpful. And then the what was really interesting in kind of a boundless space, I find myself standing and trying to find the periphery and where the space kind of runs out.
Yeah.
So then
It doesn't run out anywhere.
of course. But just seeing as far as I can see, right? Just testing that, and then dropping space for emptiness was just super hardcore, awesome.
Dropping space for nothing.
For nothing.
Yep. Awesome in what way?
Just how intense and things and obvious.
Was it easy to focus on nothing?
Yeah, delightful.
Delightful and intense, right? It's very odd.
Magnetic.
Yeah, magnetic. That's what I mean when I say it's very compelling, right? it just, you wouldn't think that. If someone said, I want you to focus on nothing, most people, if they have never done it, would think like that's stupid and going to be very boring. Turns out to be super interesting. God knows why, right? There's nothing, but it is incredibly compelling, very magnetic, very intense. Wouldn't you say, Mimi?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, what else? Yeah.
Is nothing also a mental formation or concept?
Yes. Just a super, super barely there at all one. Right? But you're still concentrating, which is also a fabrication. You're making enough tension to stay in one spot instead of just being open awareness. Antonio?
So I tend to be pretty bad at visualizing stuff deliberately,
Yeah.
and I'm just noticing that it's even harder with my eyes closed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking it's probably because I have this coupling of eyes closed, I must be dark.
Yes.
And with my eyes open, I can sort of see like a moon, right? Anytime I want, it's kind of off in the distance.
Yes.
A fragment of a moon, kind of like a smallish moon. And I wonder if that's just a way to scaffold it, just do it with the eyes open. Is that weird?
That sounds great. Whatever first of all, it's just a meditation technique. You don't have to be able to visualize, right? So if it's hard, don't do it. Do something that you're very good at focusing on. But if you want to play with that and that works for you, great. Yeah. Are you raising your hand?
No.
No. No. Hi.
You said if it's hard, don't do it. But in my life, a lot of things were very hard, and I tried, and then I succeeded at some point, and that's my aim. And so whenever you would say, "Oh, if you cannot do it, you struggle too much, go back," and I just don't do that. I just go
Yes.
for it.
Good. This is what's known as a personality style, right? And so challenge, good. However, there are other personality styles, right? So we're giving instruction for everyone.
So can it be too much struggle, or
Sure.
is there just like sky's the limit and go for it?
It can be too hard. And if you're trying to do something and it's too hard, if it's truly too hard, go back and get the thing just before it to be really easy. And then, you just build it up.
Okay.
And in fact, like, we kind of went in these chunks, and I kept saying, go back if you can't do it, but really, if you had more time, you'd go to the one that you couldn't do, and then you'd go back and be with the one before it longer, and in the same sit, then you'd kind of try the one above it again, see if that got any easier. If it didn't, you'd go back with this one longer. And you go back and forth, and gradually this gets easier until you get tired.
Could these be also chunks of 3 years or something as well?
Yeah, or never, right? So, but that's how you do it. You just build it up.
Okay.
Because they're progressively harder to concentrate on, generally. We did a mental visualization, but you can also do mental sonication, or that's not the word I want. But anyway, you're making a mental sound, or you can imagine feelings, all kinds of stuff. Whatever it's easy to focus on, but you want it to be a mental object. Yeah. Yes?
I don't know the last time I sat for that long.
Yeah, good move.
And I was actually really surprised at how,
Anybody know how long that was? That was an hour.
I was surprised at how, that the mental visualization, it really was like a mental exercise, or the way in which I wasn't even with my body.
Really?
And that, except for when you said awareness is imperturbable,
Yeah.
and then it was like shot right back in, like everything in me felt perturbed. Where
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I haven't moved, and like, it was like,
Yep.
it just became this very strong sense of. So then I just went to the breath, like, okay, you like there, and that's sort of always my anchor, like being embodied in my body is something I've worked on a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So there was just this you know, like that play was there, but it was brief, and then I was able to be back in the mental exercise of it.
Excellent. And notice that if you get really, really good at the mental exercise, when you come back into your body, you've got all that concentration power to be hyper embodied, right? It doesn't have to be that you're drifting off into dissociative land, right? It's like,
It was very anchored.
good. Notice that the more focused you are, especially on mental stuff, you're not focused on body stuff. You can sit still like a really long ass time. Yeah. Mimi.
I'm curious.
You're curious.
I'm curious, always curious.
Me too.
I'm way too curious. I'm curious how this relates to a practice that I just spent 2 weeks doing, which is taking the breath as a mental object
Uh-huh.
in the anapana spot
Yes.
and bringing up a nimitta.
Mhm. So you're trying to do illuminated jhana?
Yes.
It's very related.
Well, I thought it was because when I imagined the moon, the nimitta kept making a visitation.
Yes,
And I
in
was like,
fact,
is that a way of doing it
Yes.
too?
yes.
So interesting. And so, in this technique, which I guess is related to Pak Sayadaw,
No.
or no, the one that I was doing
Yes.
for 2 weeks, it was the Anapana spot, which is a little bit off of the upper lip. Can you start with the belly as just because it's,
You can start with anything.
you can start with any, so
We could have done that whole, I almost did the whole exercise where instead you're visualizing the moon in the belly and then it's space in the belly and
It's cool.
you can do, this is your mind. It's infinite awareness. You can do whatever, right? There's no rules. You just start to see what works and to play in a truly like playful, artistic, creative way. And you start to find, I mean, that's all Paul did, right? That's all Mahasayadaw did. These guys played with this stuff and found out what worked. So it's for them. So it's, yeah.
So if you did it with the same sort of rigor, like, I mean, it was intense.
It's hard to do, right?
It's so hard. Long sits.
Did you get like where your mind just turns to amber?
I felt like my face was flat.
Yes.
I was so focused, it was crazy. But you would need to do it with the same sort of like sequester yourself so that you really can do long sits and stuff like that in order to get that kind of depth.
You
Or
could, but
do you think it's
did you have some depth just now?
Yeah, it was, I think I was distracted because it reminded me of the practice I was just doing for so long, so intensely, that I had a hard time getting away from that.
Yeah.
Because it reminded me so much of it.
I think
So-
that, you can do all this stuff without long sequestering. Right?
Did you just say sequestering?
I wish I had, but I didn't. Yeah, I said without. Okay, yeah, so it's very related. And visualizing light can begin a nimitta thing. Right? In fact, just like there, you can do any other kasina, you can do a kasina, what's the first kasina? A white disc, and then you're looking at a white disc, and then you visualize a white disc. So how's that different from the
So
full
you
moon?
could actually like look at the moon literally and use that as your sort of.
That's your kasina.
Just for
Yeah.
going into a casino.
Yes, and then it's a nimitta when it's, yeah.
Nice, thank you.
Yep. Yes.
I'm sorry if I'm getting you to repeat yourself, but so a few people said that, they could do the breath, had trouble with the mental concentration, but then when it got to space, it seemed to come back. And that was my experience, but you're saying that developing that mental concentration, the visualization piece is not important, or?
It's just important if that's something you feel like doing.
Okay.
If you want to sit and focus on space and you can really sit with space and focus on that, great.
Okay.
One is just considered like in general to be easier than the other, but as we noticed, everybody's different. Let's sit in pure open awareness with the mind focused on awareness itself for a very short time. Very short, as I said. We sat for a long time. Announcements from the San Francisco Dharma Collective? Come on over there. That way you're on camera.
Hello. Hey, welcome to the San Francisco Dharma Collective. We are a volunteer organization and non-lineage organization. And
Non-linear.
lineage. And we are all here for donations. So whatever you can give, we have a donation. We can take credit cards or Venmo around and back. Please give what you can. And thank you so much for coming. We do have other projects on sfdharmacollective.org.
One of those projects is Death Sangha. We're going to start on June 22nd, yes, Saturday night, 7 to 9. It's 2 solid hours, lots of long sits like this, but also stark, no holds barred, no extra sugar added, confrontation with mortality and issues around eternalism, nihilism, gothism. We're not going to stream it and we're going to lock the door. Don't be late because you won't get let in. And wear black. So that's Death Sangha, very first one on the 22nd. And also, whenever you come to one of these Thursday night sits, it's like you get double donation because I'm always giving back my part of it. So we get double donations tonight, so go ahead and double down. That way it'll be quadruple donation. Thanks.